welcome to Engineering Technology. This is Mr. Addison here, helping you with how to create your Onshape maze. Alright, so let's jump into Onshape. We're going to create a new document here. We're going to label this 7th grade maze or Onshape maze or whatever you want to call it. It's appropriate. Open our file up. Just takes a second here to load. Okay, so we have our 3 planes, the top, front, and the right side, and we're going to want to sketch on one of those. So we're going to sketch on the top, and then we're going to look at the top just to get a better view. We're going to choose the rectangle tool, start at the origin, and we're going to create a 2, enter, by 2, enter, 2 by 2 square here. We're going to go back to the isometric just so we can get a better view. We're going to extrude that up, and this time we're going to extrude it, but instead of 1 inch, we need to go and change this to be 0.3. And that's going to allow our BB to roll around inside our maze, and it's going to be a good size for us. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and click these eyes next to the views. It just kind of gets confusing sometimes, so I like to get rid of them. We can zoom in a little bit and check out our square. So next thing that we want to do is we want to shell this. Basically what we're doing is we're moving the inside guts. So we're going to click the top, click shell, click the top, and you can see it starts to shell it. But we want to change this so that it is 0.05. So that's going to give us a 0.05 thickness on all the sides and also on the bottom. You can see how it looks right here. Okay, I'm going to go back to the ISO, zoom out just a little bit, and we're going to create a new sketch. This time we're going to create it, instead of on a plane, we're going to create it on this bottom surface right here, this surface that we just created. I'm going to look at the top. Just move this around a little bit so I get a better view. And basically we're going to be using 2 features. We're going to be using the rectangle tool right here. That's going to help us create our walls. And then we're also going to use the line tool. So I'm going to start with the line tool. Start at this bottom corner, not this one, but that corner right there. And I'm going to go over 0.2. And the reason that I'm going to go over 0.2 is that's going to be a perfect, what we're going to call hallway for our BB to roll through, but yet not too wide. Okay, I'm going to switch over to the rectangle tool, create a rectangle, and this is going to be my inside walls. So those inside walls, the height really doesn't necessarily matter, but the thickness does. And that thickness is going to be 0.05. So if I click off this, I can click on one of these corners and see I can move and change the height to any height that I want, but I can't move it side to side. It's that 0.2 over and 0.05 thick. Now if I wanted to go all the way up, I can, but I need to make sure, again, the marble is going to be able, or the BB is going to be able to roll through. So that needs to be, again, 0.2 thick. That's the very minimum. So I can adjust it, the height, but it needs to be, at the very least, have that 0.2. Otherwise, my BB won't be able to roll through my maze. So this one's fully length. And I'm going to extrude that up just to see what it's like. Let's take a look at this in an ISO so we can see it a little bit better. It's kind of hidden here. Okay, ISO. So right now it wants to push it up an inch. So we're going to push this up 0.25. Remember that we created the height of this was 0.3, but the bottom thickness was 0.05. So we need to go up 0.25. Okay. You can see it looks pretty good. to the ISO. We're going to draw on this, just kind of have a start of a maze, but what we need is we need for a place for our BBs, our balls that are going to be going around inside the maze. We need a place for them to rest, so we're going to create some holes here. So we're going to use this circle tool, and we're going to go inside this hallway, and we're going to make this hole a thickness of 0.1. And so basically what that is, it's wide enough that the ball will rest in, the BB will rest in, but yet at the same time the ball won't actually fall through. So that's 0.1, but it can't be too close to any one edge. If it's too close to the edge, it's not going to quite work. It's not going to rest in there. So what I'm going to use is the dimension tool, and I'm going to change this dimension so that it's right center in between our hallway. And so that means their hallway was 0.2, that this needs to be 0.1. I'm going to put it close to this bottom, so I'm going to make this also 0.1. So basically it's 0.1, the center point of that circle is 0.1 and 0.1 anywhere from any edge. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and remove this, so extrude, change it to remove, and there we go. Right, so I have a spot for one of my BBs to rest. Okay, well, that's just one hole though. To really make the mazes dynamic and really have a challenge, what you want to probably do is create a spot for at least one more, if not two more BBs. So I'm going to create another one. I'm going to go back into my sketch and I'm going to create another circle. So again, we're going to make that circle a diameter of 0.1. Use the dimension tool from any corner. Okay, I want that again to be 0.1 away from that wall. So 0.1. So that's right dead center. Okay. And what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and make sure that these holes that I'm removing aren't too close to each other, because we don't want that. That wouldn't be good either. Let's see. Looks like my other dimensions are kind of in the way, so I'm going to see if I can... No, that's not what I wanted to do. Let's try this again real quick. Move that over. Okay. So I'm going to go from that center point to that center point. And I'm just going to be safe, and I'm going to make this to be 0.3. And that'll give plenty of room. It's probably more than I need, but at the same time, it's good. So, okay, I've got my two holes, and so it's going to make my maze more dynamic. I'm going to make it a challenge instead of just having it as one hole. So, okay, I'm going to remove those two. Okay, make sure I hit remove instead of add or instead of new, and hit the green button. Okay, there we go. Alright, so I again got two spots for my BBs, and I've got a hallway for them to go through, but I need to make the rest of my maze. I want to make it somewhat dynamic, so I gotta make sure that I keep my rules in mind. I want to make sure that my hallways are all going to be 0.2 thickness away, and I want to make sure that my walls are 0.05. But pretty much that's the only real rules that we have to kind of keep in mind. So I'm going to start a sketch, start it on this, the same feature that we started before, and I'm going to create some more walls. So, okay, I'm going to use the rectangle tool, start at this point, and okay, it's good, but it's a little thick, so I need to go back, dimension its thickness, and remember our rule that our walls are going to be 0.05. And again, just like with the first one, the other dimension really doesn't matter. I can take this and pull it out and really change the length to any length that I want. I just got to make sure that I keep the rules of the hallways being 0.2 wide and the wall thickness to be 0.05. Okay, I'm going to add some more to this. Add another rectangle, 0.05 thick, and then of course the other one, the length really doesn't matter. Try it one more time. Rectangle. Okay, instead of typing it in, I'm going to hit escape and then use the dimension tool just to dimension the thickness without dimensioning the length. 0.05. Okay, and now I can start moving this around and make it look like basically I just clicked the corner, moved it with my mouse, and again I can make it. But remember our rule, we need to make sure that we do not get any smaller than 0.2. So I'm going to make sure if I want this real tight in there, I'm going to change that to 0.2. And I might want to add a circle. Actually, we're going to save that circle. We're going to do that afterwards. We're going to extrude this first. So I'm going to back up. Again, you can hit, if you need to back up, you can hit the back forward buttons. Those are always helpful. So let's extrude what we just made. So it sets it up for 1 inch. We need to set this up for 0.25. Okay, cool. So it's starting to get a little bit more like a maze. We're going to, again, sketch on the surface. Look at the top. We're going to then add, okay, so we have some starting holes, but we want some spots where the marbles are going to rest at the end, when we need to end. So remember that circle that we create needs to be a diameter of 0.1, and then it also needs to be 0.1 away from the walls, because it's 0.2 thick and we don't want it too close to any one side. Okay, we're going to extrude, hit remove, and remove that. Alright, cool. So we have a basic start of the maze, and these are really the only features that I need to use, and I'm just going to keep using the same process that I've been using, using the rectangle tool, creating walls, and finish my maze off. So just keep using, and good luck.